procedures. So, when we look to trades actually about and talk about Turkey, that we will see since Turkey established from 1923, coming to 2010, in the chart you will see that export and imports, how it's growing up repeatedly. And in 2014 we have got $157 billion of the export and also $242 billion the import. There we should be careful about the deficit, although we say always Turkey is a growing market, emerging market, but we have a big amount of the deficit in the trade ranks. And when we looked at actually EU and Turkey relations is not only politically and is not only with the cultural relations, also we have the economically, that's Turkey is the EU is the first trade maker and business partnership of EU, and EU is the seventh partnership actually. As you see here the chart, we have almost $150 billion trade in between us. And recently on Wednesday, Turkey had got an agreement for the custom unions to make it much larger, because custom union is not agreed with the agriculture and the public sector and some services, but after all they try to make the wider the agreement. And here that's we have, as you can see, from 2005 to 2014 with European Union and trade with Turkey is always growing repeatedly, and you can see that already we came, but this shows us it's the benefit for EU, not exactly for Turkey when we look to marks, but most probably after this Wednesday agreement we had this week, that it might be positively changed, good for Turkey as well. And here again in the graphic you will see the trades that what we have in goods. Trades in goods is 2012 and 13 and 14 it's over actually 80 billions of EU exports is coming to Turkey, and then it's imports, of course, that's Turkey having the much more from the EU. The balance what we could see that is always is negatively showing for Turkey, but as I mentioned, after this Wednesday agreement, it's possibly good for Turkey as well. And the EU is Turkey's #1 import and export partner, while actually Turkey ranks in the 7th for EU. So in the import, and the 5th for the export market is important for EU Turkey. Therefore, is 43% of economy, actually Turkish economies and the export and import trade is going to be done with the European Union. That's with the marks. And the most important, actually, our professor also told us TTP agreement. So Turkey also trying to get in this TTIP agreement, and they want to make, because you can see Spain, France, Germany, they are taking, and England, all the European countries, they take a seat for the Turkish economies and for the trades there, but we have to be careful about the issues that the middle income trap, although it is very good Turkish economy and growing, but since 2007 Turkey has got this middle income trap, tries to get out of this situation. Also our president, he was prime minister while he was telling that we will celebrate Recep Tayyip Erdogan the 11th anniversary in 2023, has given us $2 trillion domestic income and $25,000 per capita, what he was mentioned. But nowadays the important thing, the decisions maker with the TTP agreement and the custom union, and they had got the agreement on Wednesday to be in also TTIP via European Union custom union agreement. So here I can say actually the conclusion that Turkey is an emerging market for EU. The benefits of custom union agreement is now from Wednesday, it's going to be much beneficial for Turkey as well. And TTIP agreement with EU will also include as a custom union member for Turkey inside the getting in this agreement. The accession of Turkey in EU is a big question. Either Turkey is going to have a full membership or a privileged partnership should be decided for Turkey. So thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. And thanks for keeping the time. So we have 10-15 minutes for discussion. So now I'd like to open yes, and maybe at the beginning I ask about questions. Do you have any question for our panelists? Please feel free. Don't worry. You have opportunities to put the question. So, do you have any comments, questions? Yes. So, please.
Thank you for the speakers. My question is for Professor Goralci.
If you say a little louder.
Okay, my question is for Professor Goralci. I would like to ask, as we know in the previous world history, like in the Cold War, we had bipolar system, then we have unipolar system. So what's the expectation of China about international area? Do they want to be only power, or what will be the balance of power? What's the expectation of China?
Okay, so thanks. More questions? Yes, please, Professor.
Well, also a question to China. It's clear that there is a very impressive evolution. But what about inequalities inside the country? Because I was reading months ago a report in a German newspaper saying that inequalities are increasing between the cities at the coast and the inner agricultural parts in the country. And then this can cause also some social problems, because now information are flowing, and so in the inner parts of the countries they knew that some parts of the same country are evolving on a different way.
Okay.
Could you tell us something about this?
Okay, so thanks a lot. More questions? Okay, so maybe Professor Goralczyk, I will invite you here, so we will answer to questions, and the next round of questions we'll have.
Concerning the first question, please do not expect immediately Pax Sinica, which I used to say Pax Cinica. China is not ready. However, let me raise one issue. Recently, earlier this year, Harvard University has produced a special research project dealing with the situation like we have currently on the global arena, when you have hegemonic power, a little bit relatively declining, the US, and emerging already pretender, someone who is ready to be much stronger. And the research project qualified 15 cases like that, starting from the year 1500. And in 12 cases out of 15, there was a war. Even this case shows how sensitive moment we have. However, I'm not expecting China to be an immediate hegemonic power due to the second question. Because as someone who is dealing with China for more than, well, sorry to say, but 40 years, I know much better than anyone else how dangerous is this domestic situation in China. When I go to China now, and I happen to be in China during Tiananmen Square affairs, Beijing Spring in 1989, so I have the feeling that the situation has repeated itself. You have tremendous domestic challenges. China is not threatened from outside. Even these territorial disputes like Senkaku or South China Sea are not so dangerous as the domestic situation. Number one is corruption, corruption, corruption. In recent Transparency International, China is on position 100, somewhere close to Belize and somewhere Central Africa. So corruption is number one. As you mentioned, Gini coefficient, the best qualifier of differences and wage differences, for China is approaching 0.6. It's much higher than the United States of America, which is the cradle of liberal system and capitalism. So China is trembling like a cattle. It is domestically unstable. And that's the reason they were forced by the situation to the change of the previous development model, expansive development model, and now they are changing it, which is extremely sensitive moment, as we know already from Alexis de Tocqueville. When Gorbachev was trying to save the Soviet Union, he completely destroyed it. And China has the same situation. So my conclusion is following. China is changing, and I can elaborate it, but you need to have another lecture of mine. Another completely new model of development. They are just now introducing it. They are implementing it. If they will be in 5 years' time successful, we will have a challenge and we will start again a dispute. Is China as a revisionist power? Is China changing the global order? However, first of all, China needs to produce a new model of development and implement it. How they do it, if they will be successful, we will have a new China and probably another dimension, China reunified, peacefully reunified with Taiwan. Because this is another subject, another issue which is absolutely on the top of mind of Xi Jinping and Chinese leadership. And they are raising the question of great rejuvenation of great renaissance of Chinese nation. And great renaissance should be implemented also for 100 years of Chinese Communist Party. So forced, peaceful reunification with Taiwan. And I have a short definition. People's Republic of China without Taiwan is Communist China, is People's China, is developing country. But People's Republic of China with Taiwan together, combined, is a new, maybe not hegemonic, but definitely new global power. And this is at stake what we have from the Chinese now.
Thanks a lot. So, if you have some more questions, comments, so please. So maybe I will give you, for our panelists, 25 seconds to sum up something.
Shut up!
And later we'll have time for lunch, because Mr. Professor Latonek said that we are not ready with lunch, so 25 minutes to sum up. Professor Guralczyk to sum up his speech, so Shantanusz, please say 25 minutes to sum up.
Seconds or minutes?
Comments.
25 seconds?
25 seconds.
Okay. But I don't know how many of you are familiar with this popular Hollywood movie on Indian Indian outsourcing. It's named Outsource. There, one actor mentions that India stands for "I shall never do it again." Modi is trying to change that perception, but it would take time, particularly in connection with improving ties with European Union.
Okay, thanks a lot. And Mehmet?
Well, I would say lately that's the most important issue to having Turkey in EU as a member.
Please bring us to the Ottoman Empire. We will collectively, we will do it. We will prevail.
Sooner or later.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
And Sergey.
Yes, thank you for your attention. I just would like to say that we have much more information on our website. We have different events we are organizing for doing business between EU and Africa. So you are all welcome to visit our website to have all relevant information. The next year event, EU Africa B2B, will take place in September. The last one was 1 week ago in Belgium. So yes, please feel free to visit us, and then we will get back to you.
Okay, so thanks a lot. Thanks our panelists, and I hope that during the lunchtime we have more time to discuss not only about emerging markets. So thanks a lot, and see you, and I invite for lunch.
And thank you, Captain.
Thanks.